Genesis 19, King James Version. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even. And Lot sat at the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold, now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, unto your servant's house, and tarry all night. Wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed up them greatly. And they turned unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters, which have not known men. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing. For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. And will we deal worse with thee than with them? And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the man put forth their hand, and pulled Lot into the house with them, and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, for that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the man said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides, son-in-law, and thy sons, thy daughters? And whosoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hands of his 2 daughters, and the Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth, and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my lord. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me, and I die. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city, for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun had risen upon the earth when Lot entered Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham gat up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord, and he looked down. He looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the city of the plain, that God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zoar, and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man on earth to come unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. He perceived not when she lay down, nor when she rose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve our seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him. And he perceived not when she lay down, or when she arose. Thus were born the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger, she also bare a son, and also his name Ben-Ami. Is the same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. So I'm not going to really do too much with this chapter. It's a lot going on here. It seems almost parallel to chapter 18, when the 3 men came to Abraham and he knew who it was. Now it's 2 men. I'm sure there's a significance there. It doesn't seem that... Well, let me just make sure, because I don't want to misquote this. I don't know. I'm not sure. Because, maybe it's God, maybe it's not, maybe it's just angels. I'm not sure. There's only 2, it says. 2 angels, So it doesn't seem like it's the same type of presence that Abraham experienced in chapter 18. It just seems different. Although it's parallel in a way that there are God-sent individuals, and Lot was able to recognize that, and in his way, like how Abraham did, he wanted to accommodate them. But I think also under a very similar pretense, but also Lot knew how evil Sodom and Gomorrah was, specifically Sodom. So he was just trying to keep them out of that. And they were going to just walk around in the streets. They're angels, so they can handle it against even the most wicked men. But Lot was just no, please. I'm sure he was just, I've been living here. I've seen how it is here. It's crazy. Please come into my space. Let me, get your feet washed. Let me, make some food. Unleavened bread, it says here, as opposed to the bread that they had, the finest, with Abraham. So, I mean, this is just another type of accommodation. It seems like there's some significance behind the unleavened bread. If any of this stands out to you and you have a hypothesis or maybe an answer, please do share it in the comment section. I would love to hear it. But long story short, this is just a travesty. It says in verse 4, before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house around. Both old and young, all the people from every quarter. So they noticed too how significant these beings were. And they surrounded his house, like the whole city, young and old. Think about that. Like, that means children and everything. Men and women, everything, They were all there, surrounding these Lot's residents because of these two men, these angels. And, of course, they wanted to... It looks like Lot was really discreet, comes out, closes the door behind him, where, guys, what are you doing? But it didn't faze them. They were just like doing whatever, was in their imagination, the wickedness in their heart, whatever they were used to at this point, which was sodomy and rape and things. Like, it was just some gross stuff, going on here. I'm sorry to say it, and I don't mean to be offensive. I'm just reading this book, what it says in here. And so they're like, bring those guys out. We're about to, I guess get down and dirty. And, yikes, they're not even asking or anything. They're just commanding, like, that we're going to do this stuff. Ugh, a whole city worth of, young and old and everything. Gross. Lot's not trying to give into that. So he's like, you can take my daughters. They're virgins, You can have them, which is kind of messed up too. But it's like, at least that's a lesser of the evils. At least... for the men that are getting, at least you're with a woman. No offense to other people who do not live that lifestyle. I'm not here to offend you. I'm just reading what's in this book. And it says, man and women are, and literally biologically, they are designed to be together because none of us would exist without a man and a woman. No offense to people with those lifestyles, but two men can't make a child and two women can't make a child. It's up to you to let God lead your heart. If you believe in him, if you don't, I pray that maybe you give him a chance. But, I'm not here to offend anyone about their lifestyles at all. I'm just reading this word. And, the proof is in the pudding here, None of us have existed by same-sex anything. We've all come together, even in artificial insemination. It takes a man part and a woman part to create life. There's a reason why a man and woman are meant to be together. And it's, not just about physical pleasure. I know some people think that, it's more than that. This is love and stuff. I'll let God be the judge of that. But right here, it looks like he's judging. He doesn't think that that stuff is right. And he's the one that designed us, so he would know. He didn't design us for that. And I'm not going to get too much deeper into that because I don't hate anyone and I'm not here to tell anybody how to live their life. He did give us free choice and you can choose to do as you wish. Just like these people are choosing to do, just like Abram is choosing to do, just like I'm choosing to do. We all have that choice, which is the grace of God, his mercy and his love, letting us choose what we want to do with our time here. So back to the story, because I'm trying to keep things a little bit shorter than normal. The commentary and everything has just gone so long. So I don't want to, ramble on. But it's very clear here that they're trying to take these people against their will. One way or another. They're trying to rape them, I'm sorry, that's what it looks like. These videos are not monetized, by the way, so it doesn't really matter. Me using these words is really what's going on. Lot doesn't want it. He's trying to protect them. He's trying to offer his daughters because it's a lesser sin. And, they don't want them. They want this perverted stuff. They want to do the raping of these angels. They want that. And angels aren't having it. They were sent here on a mission anyway. It was already foreshadowed in chapter 18. We're now in chapter 19. And they're done. They've seen enough. It's done. They didn't even have to go around in the streets. These people came to them and surrounded the house. So they saw enough. It's done. God already knew this was going to happen. Probably told the angels already that it was going to happen. And now it's time to destroy this place. So they tell Lot, it's time to get going. You got to leave this place if you want to live. Because I can't destroy this place. We can't do anything to this place until you go. And it's because of what Abraham had asked. Like if there's even 1 or 10 or whatever people, will you destroy the righteous with the wicked? And God told him he wouldn't. He would spare this place entirely as long as there was. And he kept his word. Once again, look at him. He's keeping his word perfectly. Lot and his loved ones have to leave in order for him to do it. So the angels literally grab them and take them out. But before that, I think they pulled Lot into the house because they knew that Lot's reasoning wasn't going to work against this whole surrounding force of pervertedness and wickedness. So they just kind of like smite them in some way that caused blindness. And the strange thing is like, even though they were blind, they were still looking for the door anyway. They didn't even let that stop them. Think about how much wickedness that must be. You're still trying to rape and stuff. Even though they just took your sight, you're still trying to find a way to do it. Yikes. If that's not the definition of a reprobate, I don't know what is. They don't even care about their health. They just want to rape. They just want to do wrong. They're determined. So Lot and his wife, his daughters, and I think he tried to get his son-in-laws, but he was mocked. So that's in verse 14. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-laws, which were married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. They weren't having it. They were like, no, we're staying here, whatever, Well, it's still time to go. So the angels take him and the daughters and his wife. They literally by the hand and lead them out and leave whoever is in there, because the rest of them are wicked, which includes the sons-in-laws. They were wicked. They were, because this place got destroyed with them in it. So they weren't righteous. And they mocked the one righteous guy that was there. So, the angels are like, you got to get far back, go into the mountains. And Lot's over there like, maybe it's too far or something. What does he say? Can I go to this other city, instead? Maybe he's overwhelmed, it seems. There's a lot going on. And God permits it. He's like, okay, go to that city then. That Zoar place, that little city. He goes there and boom, Sodom and Gomorrah, fire and brimstone, like wiped out. There was nobody righteous there. It was nothing but wickedness there aside. It's like Noah, the days of Noah, except now it's Lot and his family. It's worse. It's worse than that, because it wasn't even like Lot and his wife and his offspring and their marriages. It was like broken up already. The husband, the sons-in-laws were still there and they were wicked. And then his wife, they said, the angels are saying, leave, get out of here. I'm trying to find it really fast. Sorry, I don't really want to take too much time. I should have highlighted. I'll try to do that in the future. Verse 26, but his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. This is verse 22. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything until thou be come thither. Therefore the name of the city was Zor. I'm trying to find the command. And I'm just not finding it. I'm going to have to highlight this stuff in the future so that I don't have you guys just sitting here watching me try to find it. Verse 17, and it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain, escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. Now, he did make a compromise that he could go to that little city, Zor, and he still said, don't look back, like, go forward. And unfortunately, his wife looked back at verse 26, and she turned into a pillar of salt. Now, I don't know the significance why salt, was what she turned into. But they were obviously given like a direct order. It wasn't even like some spiritual thing where they felt it in the Holy Spirit. This was before all that happened. The Holy Spirit come into us. They were getting a direct message from an angel, literally telling them, without a doubt, don't look back. She did. I suppose that could be some sort of symbolism also for just not looking back at the past of your sins, or like just a bad era of your life, that it was just a lot of wickedness, a lot of wrongdoing. Don't look back, don't go back. Don't even reminisce. I saw some video on that probably a week ago where some guy, and it made perfect sense, like the things that have passed, especially the things that weren't really good. It's not really a good idea to even dwell on the past, even if it was good. Because it's just not really in existence anymore. That's just something that's come and gone. And it doesn't mean that the things of the past or people can't be in your future or reappear in your future. But I think discernment is definitely something that you need to utilize and ask God about. Because I think some people and some things aren't meant to return because they don't have good intentions. Or a certain type of lifestyle you lived. Or, just in this case, let's say someone did, used to be a drinker or, a smoker or whatever, I'm just naming stuff right now. And they left that stuff behind. Don't go back to that. Don't even think about it. Like, oh, there were some good times. No, like, probably it's a good idea not even to think about that. Just let it go. It's done and over. Like, let's not think about it anymore. Let's not go back to it. Because, just the thought of it, or even glancing back or reminiscing, could also trigger you to go back. And there's a saying also that says, like, a dog going back to its own vomit type thing. And it's like, that's basically what this kind of symbolizes to me, is she was looking back as if maybe to yearn for that place. Maybe she'd grown some kind of attachment to that place, even though it was 100% wicked. So wicked that God is raining down fire and brimstone, and the only people who were counted as righteous were 4 people. Why would you look back at a place like that? But I think also, just in human life, we do that. We look back at some, like, really of the most toxic periods of our lives and activities that we chose that were hurting us. And we actually look back on it fondly. I know I have. I know so many people have. And it just wasn't good or healthy. And now that it's gone, it's not something that you should be thinking about anymore. So I think if when it comes to a person, if the person has changed, maybe it's a person that didn't do right or whatever, and they have changed, God is working in them, on them. And if that's the case, like, use discernment, ask God about it. He'll let you know if they really did and if they should be coming back into your life. But it isn't something that you should take into your own hands and be like, oh, they seem different now and they said they're sorry. No, like, for me, I've learned, like, you need to go through God, especially if you did me dirty. The only way you're going to come back into my life is if God wills it and he gives you the approval to come back. especially after some things that some people have done. Like, you're going to need to go through God at this point. And that goes for new people that I meet or just anyone in my life. You have to go through God. And if at any point God wants you out or wants to remove you or tells me to stay back or stay away, I'm going to do what he says. Best I can. So, interesting. I'm not going to keep going because these are super long chapters, kind of. The end, Lot goes to the mountain, if you noticed. That was the original plan anyway. It's funny how he did what God said. He went to the mountains anyway, after his wife is gone, so it's just him and his daughters, and things get a little dark there, sweet home Alabama. Okay? Don't know what's going on. They're deciding they're going to be with their dad. Because they didn't want the bloodline to die and they wanted to have children. It's just all it's just some sin going on again. Yikes, you know. Lot has just not had it very good. He had some good moments, but his walk with God was not the same as Abram's, for sure. But at the same time, Abram also messed up. So it's really interesting. Lot, and he didn't know. They did put that in here, that he did not know that his daughters were doing this. They were getting him drunk, and then he was so drunk that he couldn't even conceive of the fact that this was happening 2 nights in a row. He was getting raped by his own daughters. There's just a lot going on there. Poor guy. Because I don't really think Lot was that bad of a guy at all. I've seen a lot of people live life much worse. He was a decent person, and he was counted as righteous, which is why God had spared him. So, I don't know. Things got a little crazy. Apparently, this is the Moabites' origin. And what's the other name of the people? The other son? The Ammon. The children of Ammon. So, I mean, these are lineages, and they said to this day, you know. I mean, obviously, they're talking about, like, to this day and whenever it was written, but I think also it's referring to this day in terms of, like, now. Like, the Moabites exist right now. Who do you think they are? I have my own hypothesis on that, but I'm not going to say. But yes, I do believe that they exist right now, that they are a distinct type of people that exist in this planet right now. And I'll leave it to you guys to, you know, look into that lineage if you want. But that's about it. This is a super long video again. I hate that I'm doing this. Maybe it's just meant to be. I shouldn't even be that hard on it. We're reading the Word, and for as long as it takes to read the Word and trying to understand it, why not just take that time out and do that? You know, we're spending time with God and understanding His ways and learning some lessons from others. You know, a lot of people are out here, in this family in particular, they want to have children and they're just going about it all wrong. Who's to say that God would not have given those daughters new husbands, you know, under some other circumstance? It just kind of ended there on a bad note. And just kind of makes me think, like, even when things are super tough, it seems impossible and all hope is lost, if you have God, there is hope. Even if it doesn't seem like it and you're broken. And I can tell you, like, I've been there. Really. Even if you seem that way, don't give up on God. Don't let Him go. He is the source of life and blessings and good things. By letting Him go and putting matters into your own hands, it's just going to get worse, as you can see. So, anyway, that's it for chapter 19, King James Version of Genesis. And I pray that you guys have a blessed day. Many, many blessings over you as usual. And I'll see you in chapter 20. Thanks for watching and reading with me, and God bless you.